Hello everyone. This video is the continuation of my previous video where I was talking about when the value of n is equals to 10. So we will take the two middle values 5 plus 6 divided by 2. Okay, that is 11 by 2. That is 5.5. That is the fifth position. Okay, so my median will be the value at fifth position. So in this case, my median will be the median will be equals to 5. So like this, you can calculate the median in case of the odd number of data points and even number of data points. And there's a note that is median is not affected by outliers, and that is the good thing. So we just saw like mean are affected by outliers and median is not affected by outliers. So the third measure is the mode. So values that occur more frequently. Okay, so that is called the mode. So in my above example, if I'll just see what is the most frequent number we are getting over here. So you can see in my NYC, I can see 3 and yeah, 3 is the most frequently occurred number. So my mode for this is 3. But if I'll see for data of LA, I cannot see any repetition of the numbers. So there's no mode over here. Okay. Um, so this is all about measure of central tendency, and these concepts are very easy to understand. So also there is a use case. So in which what are the use cases of mean, median, and mode? So if you have a missing value in your data set, then you can replace it using mean, median, and mode. So for example, if you have the age of a person, okay, or the something or the salary or some variable you have, and you have some missing data, and you have the information about the other data like 10k 15k, uh, then you can take either the mean, you can replace these missing value either with mean, okay, or with median or with the mode based on the requirement. So if you don't want your data to get affected by outliers, so don't use mean. In that case, you can always use median, because median do not get affected by outliers. And if you have categorical data, okay, categorical means in the form of categories like bad, good, or something in the form of some categories, then go for the mode, okay, because you cannot calculate the mean and median of the categorical data. So go for mode in that case. Now, the second type of descriptive analysis is the measure of a spread. So before talking about measure of spread or variability, there are some notations I have pointed out here. That is like I'm representing the mean of sample with x bar and mean of population with mu, and standard deviation of sample with s, and standard deviation of sample, population with sigma. Okay. Now I will discuss about the variance. So what exactly variance is? So variance is nothing but the dispersion of a data point around their mean. So how far a data point from their mean is all about variance. So we have population variance and sample variance. So when I talk about population variance, I'll just use capital N, and when I'll be talking about the sample variance, I will be using small n. So the formula for the population variance is, it's very simple, no major changes. So I'll just write it with the red pen. So it's a population variance is equals to summation of I equals to 1 to n xi minus mu square divided by n. Okay. So, and for sample variance, it is s square. Sorry for the inconvenience. So, it is s square equals to summation of I equals to 1 to n small n xi minus x bar whole square divided by n minus 1. So this is for the population, and this is for this small n is for the sample. Okay, and this is again for the sample x bar. I'm representing the mean over here with x bar and here with the mu, and it is pretty much simple to understand, like it's like uh, kids thing. So here I have the population 1 2 3 4 5, and this is the formula for it. So first I'll be calculating the mean because I have to subtract each and every data point. So these are basically the data points. Okay, I have to subtract it with the mean. So first I will calculate the mean over here. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus, so I got the mean as 3. Okay, then I'm calculating the variance. So I'm just subtracting and doing the whole square and the addition of all the values over here and dividing it by 5. So population variance is 2 over here. It's pretty much simple to understand. You just have to remember the formula. And for sample variance, it is like I am dividing it by n minus 1. So it's like, and there's a reason for it why we do n minus 1. So because population means the complete population of the world, right? But I'm taking a sample out of it. It means like there's something less than this population. So it is like researchers have found out like we should always subtract it by 1. Sometimes we subtract it by 2. So it like it depends on you, like what you want. Usually we subtract it by n minus 1. So here the sample variance is 2.5. The other measure of dispersion or the spread is standard deviation. So standard deviation defines the spread of distribution, and for population standard deviation it is represented by under root of sigma square, and for the sorry, and for sample it is under root of s square. Okay, so I'll explain this with example. It is also very easy to understand. So here I have taken the example minus 10. These are my data points: minus 10, 0, 10, 20, 30. Then I'm finding out the mean over here, that is 10. And I have another data set. Okay. So here I have data points like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm taking out the mean over here, that is also 10. Okay. But if you see, if you just observe carefully, here the data points are more, they are more dispersed, and here data points are less dispersed. Like, so when I say dispersed, it means the difference between two data points is less. So if you see the difference between 8 and 9 is less, 9 and 10 is less, so it is like very less distance is there, sorry, difference is there. But if you see the difference between minus 10 and 0, it is 10, then 0 and 10 again it is 10, so it is more dispersed. So these numbers are not as much close to, so we can conclude that these numbers are not so much close to 10, and these numbers are very close to 10. That is the standard deviation. Okay, and then next is range. So range is nothing but the how far number away from the largest and the smallest number. So it is just the difference of the maximum value present in a data set with the minimum value. So I have the value over here, this minus 10, 0, 10, 20, 30. So I'm just subtracting the max value with the min value. So this is the range of this data set. Okay. Now I'm taking another example. Same thing I'm doing it. This is my smallest value. This is my largest value. I'm just doing the subtraction to find out the range. Then another one is IQR. IQR stands for interquartile range. So it is the measure of variability based on dividing a data set into quantiles. So quantiles are basically tell the spread of the data set by breaking the data set into quarters. Okay. So if you see, this is my data set. this is my complete data set. I have divided the data set into quarters like 25%, 25%, 25%, and 25%. So IQR is basically Q3 minus Q1. The difference between the quarter 3 minus quarter 1 is called the IQR. Then there are other things you should understand, like for more clarity, quanta is like it will split the data set into 4 equal parts. So if you see, this is my data set and I have divided the data set into 4 equal parts. This is the one part, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have percentile. So it is the 1% of way through ordered data set. So it will divide it into 100 equal parts. So this is my data set and it is dividing the data into 100 equal parts. Then we have deciles. It will divide the data into 1 by 10th of the way. So that is, it will divide the data into 10 equal parts. Okay. And this is all about it. And this is a small note. IQR is not affected by outlier. So I'll just explain this with an example. So if you see here, this is my data points 2, 2, 5, 6, 9, 10 and 58. So if you just closely look at this data points, so you can clearly see 58 is the kind of outlier present over here, because the difference of this point and the other point is very huge. So I am finding out the range, that is 56. Then I'm finding out the IQR. Okay. So IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So here Q3 is 10 and Q1 is 2 and my IQR is 8. So if you see here, if I'll find out the range, it means like most of the data points are close to 56. It concludes this. But if you look at this data points, you can clearly see it is not close to 56. But if you calculate the IQR of it, it will give you a correct result. That is, it concludes that most of the data points are nearer to 8, and which makes sense as you can clearly see this thing. The other one is coefficient of variation. So a coefficient of variation, it describes the relationship between two numerical variables. So it is of following types, like positive covariance and positive correlation, negative covariance and negative correlation, no covariance and no correlation. So I'll explain this with an example. So I'm taking an example over here. So I have variable 1 and variable 2. So if my temperature is increasing, there's too much sunny outside and my temperature is increasing. Okay. So I can also see there's an increase in the sale of ice cream. So as my temperature increases, sale of my ice cream also increases. Okay. So this is a positive covariance and positive correlation between these two variables. Okay. But if I'll take another scenario, like I have a high temperature outside. Okay. The temperature is high outside. It's going up, but I can see like there are a lot of people suffering from pneumonia. So if you see, and if you know about this pneumonia, it happens with a cold. So if the temperature is high, obviously you will not feel cold. So this is a negative covariance and negative correlation. Negative correlation. Then we have third case, no covariance and no correlation. So I have temperature is hot outside. Okay, it's hot, and I'll just compare it with the price of the stock market. So as you can see, like these two are very unrelated scenarios, right? Uh, Price of a stock market will not depend on the temperature. So there's no correlation and no covariance. So I'll continue further explanation in my next video, because I can just record a video of 15 minutes. I do not have the paid version of it. So if you really like the content of this video, please do share, subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you.